Britain loves a good queue, a tidy line, everyone in order, everyone waiting their turn. That's what it means to be British, isn't it? Fair play, rules, order. But what happens when thousands of people decide they don't fancy the queue and simply jump straight to the front? Because that, whether politicians like to admit it or not, is exactly what's happening in the English Channel. Today, we're talking about something the mainstream media avoids: why the men arriving by small boats aren't using the proper legal routes, including the UN resettlement program that was designed for refugees. This is The Rational Brit, and you're not being told the half of it. Let's start with something most people don't know. Every single year, thousands of genuine refugees sit in camps overseas, registered with the United Nations, background checked, interviewed, processed, all of them hoping for a legal, safe relocation to countries like Britain. Some wait years, some wait decades, some never get the chance. And here's the twist: those people, the ones doing it the right way, are limited by quotas. Britain can only take so many per year. It's structured, it's controlled, it's fair. The UN runs the resettlement program specifically for the most vulnerable refugees: families with young children, women fleeing persecution, people with serious medical conditions, the elderly and disabled. They're vetted thoroughly, their stories are verified, their backgrounds are checked multiple times, and then they wait, in camps, in limbo, hoping that one day, a country like Britain will say yes. But the moment you cross the channel illegally, suddenly you jump ahead of the entire queue. You're here, you must be processed, you must be housed, you must be fed, you get a hotel room, legal representation, 3 meals a day. And the people stuck in those camps, the ones who registered properly, the ones who followed the rules, they wait even longer, because Britain's capacity hasn't increased. Every person who arrives illegally takes a place that could have gone to someone who did it the right way. Every hotel room occupied is a place that could have housed a family resettled through the UN. Now let's be brutally honest about what's actually happening here. This system is completely upside down. The vast majority of people arriving on small boats aren't coming from war zones. They're coming through safe countries: France, Belgium, Germany, Italy. Countries where they could have, and should have, claimed asylum. Under international law, refugees are supposed to claim asylum in the first safe country they reach. That's the rule. But why would they? Why would they stop in France when the UK system rewards the people who break the rules more than the people who follow them? Think about that for a second. If you're a refugee registered with the UN, waiting patiently for Britain to accept you, you could wait 5 years, maybe 10, maybe never. Meanwhile, British taxpayers foot the bill. 4-star hotels, security, transport, court costs, millions of pounds. Let's talk numbers. In recent years, tens of thousands of people have crossed the channel in small boats. Compare that to the number Britain accepts through the official UN resettlement program. It's a fraction. So we're taking more people who broke the rules than people who followed them. We're rewarding illegal entry over legal process. And here's something else nobody talks about: the demographics. The overwhelming majority crossing the channel are young men. Not families, not vulnerable women and children. Young, fit, military-age men. That doesn't mean they don't have legitimate claims. But it does raise a question. If you're fit enough to make a dangerous sea crossing, to pay thousands to criminal gangs, to trek across Europe, are you really the most vulnerable refugee? Are you more deserving than the disabled child waiting in a camp? More deserving than the elderly grandmother who fled persecution? More deserving than the single mother with 3 kids? The UN resettlement program prioritizes the most vulnerable. The small boats prioritize the most bold. Those aren't the same thing. So here's what I want to know. If Britain already has a legal, structured, safe resettlement route, why is it being completely ignored? Why aren't we prioritizing the people who followed the rules? Why aren't we rewarding patience and legal entry? And here's the big one. Why do criminal smuggling gangs get to decide who enters this country instead of British officials? Because that's what's happening. Criminal gangs are deciding Britain's immigration policy. They're the ones selecting who gets to come. They're the ones profiting. They're the ones in control. Not the British government, not Parliament, not the voters. Now, if you ask these questions publicly, you know what happens. You're told you're heartless. You're called a bigot. You're accused of lacking compassion. No, it is not heartless to expect fairness. It is not heartless to say that laws matter. And it is certainly not heartless to ask why the UK's compassion is being exploited. Compassion without control isn't compassion. It's chaos. Real compassion means helping the people who need it most, not the people who push their way to the front. Real compassion means a fair system where everyone has a chance, not just those who can afford to pay smugglers. This isn't about attacking individuals. Most people on those boats are probably decent human beings looking for a better life. That's understandable. But this is about attacking a broken process, a system that punishes the patient and rewards the reckless. And it's not just unfair to British taxpayers. It's unfair to the refugees doing it the right way. The family in a Jordanian camp waiting 3 years for resettlement. The woman in Uganda who registered with the UN. They followed the rules. They waited. They trusted the system. And they're watching people jump the queue ahead of them. British people queue. We respect order. We wait our turn. We don't cut in front of little old ladies at the post office. We don't barge to the front at the GP surgery. We wait. So why shouldn't everyone else? Why should people who break the law get better treatment than people who follow it? Why should criminal gangs profit while genuine refugees suffer? Because let's be honest, nobody voted for this. Nobody went to the ballot box and said they wanted tens of thousands of undocumented migrants arriving on beaches. The solution isn't complicated. Secure the border, process claims quickly, deport those who don't qualify, and prioritize the UN resettlement program. Help the people doing it right. Reward patience and cooperation. Make the legal route faster and better than the illegal one, but it requires political will. It requires tough decisions. It requires saying no. And our politicians are too scared to do that. So the problem continues. The boats keep coming. The hotels stay full. The taxpayer keeps paying. And the people waiting in refugee camps, they keep waiting. This is the rational Brit. If you believe in strong borders, fair rules, and a bit of good old British common sense, then follow this channel, because there's a lot more to uncover. Stories the mainstream won't touch. Questions the politicians won't answer. And trust me, you're not being told the half of it. See you in the next one.